From the Diudley camp tonight. Get Hendon on board and talk about some good football games lately. A lot of good football games. Hendon, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir. Good.
Tell me about the trip last Saturday. I guess it was Lane Stadium up in Blacksburg. How about that trip? What was that like?
Yes, sir. It's always a great experience to go and hang out with my Hokie family. You know, I talked to Coach Fuente on the field while they were introducing him for the first time, so that was a special moment by itself. But it's always great going up to Blacksburg.
What's that atmosphere like at Virginia Tech, the atmosphere up there?
Like their motto is jump. It's always jumping. It's really live in a college town.
And you look forward, I'm sure, to it down the road. What about this week? You got the big game this week in Bristol, Tennessee, between Virginia Tech and the Tennessee Volunteers. Are you going to get a chance to go to that one?
Yes, sir.
I figured you might. Well, that's going to be huge. You looking forward to that too? Where do you go during the game? I mean, I watch some games on TV. I see the player. Sometimes they go on the sideline. Is that what you guys usually at when you go to these games?
Yeah, most of the time we'll be on the sideline, but since it's a away game, we'll be in the stands this time.
Gotcha. Now, they send you a ticket in advance or get your ticket at the will call window? How's that work usually?
It'll be a recruiting will call. NCAA are just now allowing them to have recruits at the central location games.
Gotcha. There's always going to be some kind of NCAA guideline you got to go by, right?
Yes, sir.
I bet it was fun. So you're on the sideline last week in that game.
Yes, sir.
What was the Liberty competition like?
They brought their A game. They sure did. In the first half, you know, they really put up a fight, but then in the end, Virginia Tech just ran away with it.
Hey, you think about Coach Fuentes, what are some of the things he's doing with that offense and that team as a whole up there? What are they doing to kind of get this Virginia Tech team going?
He's really rebooting the early 2000s Virginia Tech team, bringing in that quick and fast-paced offense. So it's explosive with the receivers they have, and Gerard Evans at quarterback.
What year is Evans?
He's a junior.
He's a junior, so you'll be there his senior year.
Yes, sir.
Man, I wish in some ways you were there this year, because if you're this year, you might go against Emmanuel Moser, your old teammate from Dudley, now Tennessee. That's going to be fun watching Luke Reynolds and Emmanuel Moser in the same football field. Probably not at the same time, they're both defensive backs, but that's neat to see two guys from the same county, nearby schools, playing this coming Saturday for you, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. It's always good to see hometown guys playing on the field on a higher level.
What about this Virginia Tech offense? Anything like the Dudley offense?
Somewhat. You know, they run completely no huddle. So
I guess that's in vogue nowadays. Almost everybody runs something like the no huddle, correct?
Somewhat. Everybody has a little portion of it. So.
Everybody's got their own little wrinkles they do it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, how much influence did Luke Reynolds have on you going to Virginia Tech? I know he had some influence.
He had some influence on it. He really was honest with me and told me about the environment and how the coaches interact with their players, which Coach Fuente is a really cool and calm, collected guy. He doesn't really, yell at you in your face. He'll come to you privately and tell you things you need to work on, which I like. And I think that'll take my game to a high level.
In the end, what sold you on Virginia Tech?
Like I said, Coach Fuente, he played the position in college at Oklahoma. And he also has put many quarterbacks in the league, Andy Dalton, and this year Paxton Lynch, first-round draft pick. So it's nothing but success around him.
What was it kind of like the recruiting process? Because he was barely at Virginia Tech when you started to talk to him. He was just getting there. How did that work? Because sometimes the coach has been there, he's established, you've communicated with him maybe over the course of a couple months, but your situation went pretty quick, didn't it?
Well, at the quarterback position, you have to commit early, and I was going to commit to NC State, but some things went down there, kind of went south, and then I visited Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, and West Virginia in all the same weekend. And,
that was a busy weekend.
Oh, yeah, it's a really busy weekend, 12-hour drives. So
yes.
I was liking Notre Dame, but it was too far from home, and Virginia Tech just really caught my eye.
You think Coach Doran has not given up? I heard Coach Doran was at the game. Somebody said he was at the game last Friday. He and an assistant coach from State with that game you guys played last week at Davie County. I guess he hasn't given up on you guys yet.
No, sir, he hasn't.
He's dedicated. I give the guy credit. I mean, I know he was there looking at a lot of different people, seeing a lot of different players. Besides yourself on Dudley, who are the next big recruits to your teammates this year that a coach like Coach Doran might have been looking at maybe last Friday? Some other names?
Maybe linebacker Nigel Pill. Left tackle Bryson Spees, cornerback Miles White, cornerback DJ Croston, free safety Breon Seagraves.
And Croston was committed to Carolina, but like Spees was here a few weeks back, Brandon was here, or Bryson was here. Bryson, Brandon, I know them all. Bryson was here, and he was talking about the fact that he's committed to Virginia, but he's still left the door a little bit open for Virginia Tech, NC State, maybe other schools.
Yes, sir. Hopefully I can get him over to be a Hokie with me.
But yours is a lockdown. You've not signed on February 2nd or 3rd, whenever they have the official college sign today, but you're just pretty much locked down, guaranteed now.
Pretty much locked down.
Yeah. It's interesting, this college process. Will you leave? Maybe it's too soon to tell, but kind of an indication. Do you see yourself leaving high school early to go to Virginia Tech?
I'm thinking about it. It's definitely an option right now, but I might want to finish out my basketball career.
I was going to ask you, is basketball over?
It might not be. I played the other day, actually, and it wasn't too bad.
Where were you playing? At the school?
No, just kind of, messing around.
Just shooting around a little bit?
Shocking myself.
Outdoors, inside?
Indoor.
Yeah. Where were you shooting at? Over Dover?
No, at the YMCA.
Downtown?
Yes,
did you see Mr. Jenkins down there? Do you know Jenkins? The guy who shoots the ball over the top?
Oh, Milton. Mr. Milton.
You know him?
Yes, sir.
I asked another guy about that a while back. I can't remember which
Was it
guy.
Raymond?
I asked Raymond about Mr. Jenkins. He's got that over the top of the head shot from like full court, half court, wherever, and it goes in.
Yes, sir.
He's pretty good at that shot too, I hear. Mr. Jenkins, Milton Jenkins, a great one. His daughter is now, I think it's Michigan or Michigan State, doing the video work at the college now. Got the job there. She's a basketball player. Played at Stony Brook. Played at Eastern Guilford. Jenkins is okay.
He played a little football back in the day.
He did. He played quarterback. In fact, he played, I think he had some kind of connection in college, maybe with Thomas Hennigan's uncle, who might have played at the same school together, Mike Hennigan back in the day. But does Mr. Jenkins still have any game?
Oh, yeah, he's can play.
That's what I heard. He's a good man, good connection there. Let's go back to the high school game last Friday. What happened on that crazy play?
Well,
you didn't get ejected, you got disqualified. What happened there?
Well, I got disqualified. I was running the ball, and I got tackled. I went down trying to get up. The opposing team was pushing me back down on the ground as I attempted to get up, and stomping on my leg and neck. And they said I threw a punch, but I was removing the legs from something on my body, and then I eventually got up, and the ref, in a joking manner, was saying I was ejected.
So you first heard that in a joking manner, you thought he was just kind of kidding around?
No, I think he was doing it just to intentionally get out of the game.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Might have been trying to prod things along a little bit then.
Yes, sir.
So at no point in time when you were on the ground or whatever trying to get up and that type, you didn't think you were going to get ejected from the game for something like that, though?
No, sir. I actually thought when I saw him throw the flag, I thought he was calling unsportsmanlike conduct on the other team. Something on that.
Well, I was in the game many years ago, and I was actually standing. There were two guys on the ground going after my leg, so I kicked both the guys towards their head and got, I guess, disqualified because we got to play the next game. I guess the rules were different back then, but two guys got knocked out from the other team. But again, you get ejected, disqualified, and in your situation there, after that happened, what was it like on the sideline? You walk out of that game thinking, what just happened here?
It was kind of depressing, in a time where my teammates needed me, I wasn't there, and I couldn't be there for them, and that really crushed me, because I would love to do anything for any of my teammates.
Yeah, you're a dedicated guy. You always have been. Kind of an emotional guy, too. You kind of wear it on your sleeve and don't come out throwing punches, but you come out usually hard play and hard work and very emotional. You're watching that game as Richard Monroe takes over. What were you thinking then?
I was just thinking, praying to God that Quad just does what we taught him and not try to go off.
He did pretty well.
Did really well.
What did you think watching this game? Pretty well impressed?
Really impressed. He really stepped up when we needed him, so that was a big-time move.
And it was a challenge going out last week. We talked about it a little bit at the website. I think Mr. Sear talked about it in the News and Record. The challenge had come out about Ezra Perkins needs to step up, and maybe Rush Foxworth needs to step up. And it was just... Let's put some pressure on him to go to the game because you've done so much already and people are aware of you. That means the other guys got to go after their game too. And it didn't expect to happen the way it did to cause them to step up, but both those guys played well also.
Our backfield is really powerful. I know running behind Ezra Perkins, he can block, catch, run, and Zeke Foxworth is just an animal all across the board. Play defense, anything you need him to do.
Between the end of the game last Friday and when I think the decision came down to get it, because the Fox 8 video, we had it on our site, a lot of people had it, the Fox 8 video was very open about it. It showed it was very telling that you really did not throw a punch.
Yes, sir.
And when between last Friday and the Tuesday when the decision came out, you were just disqualified, not ejected. What was that time frame like?
It was just, my words against theirs. And at first, Coach Davis, the ref's always right and the adults are always right. Coach Davis didn't want to, believe me that I didn't throw any punches. But I did my 500 up downs for punishment and just went on with my life.
So since you did the 500 up downs and you were disqualified, so ejected, does that mean next time it comes time for up downs, you got 500 in your plus column? You got
I hope so.
Wow, you think you have a little credit built up in those up downs? 500 up downs, is that nonstop?
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm thinking about trying to do those right now. I'm thinking about doing those, and I'm thinking that's kind of tough. Now, is that inside or outside?
Outside.
On the field. Up down 500 nonstop. Coaches observing?
Sometimes no.
Who's counting?
You got to count yourself. So.
Yeah, and as honest as you are, you probably did all 500 too. That's a lot of up down. But I'm just thinking about that. So you probably should have a column right now. You've got your 500. You got a 500 credit right now. I would think.
Hopefully.
Boy, looking forward to the game tomorrow night, I'm sure.
Yes, sir, I am.
What's the feel about Hillside? I know last year, competitive team, their quarterback transferred down to Mallow Creek, Chauncey Caldwell, got a different guy quarterback. But to beat Southern Durham 7-3 Monday, so you got to have a pretty good club, I would think. What's the thought about them going tomorrow night?
I think they're very powerful on offense. Their offensive line is really massive and can move really well. And I've seen some of their linebackers move pretty well as well. So it should be a pretty good contest coming out.
And you love to play those games. Well, you think you do. The competitive games probably bring out the best in you and the best in your teammates too.
Yes, sir. I feel like my teammates are ready to roll whenever it's time to go.
And you think about games like the game tomorrow night against Hillside. Then you got the Pine Forest team next Friday at your place. They're unbeaten 3-0. Not sure about the quality teams that they play, but I know after that game, we don't look too far ahead, but you got Richmond County at Richmond County. And that's a make-up game too. You got to make up for last year in that game.
Yes, sir. We're just trying to move one game at a time. And, we're 1-0 after each week.
Yeah, and the schedule for Dudley is a little more competitive than people realize, too. Sometimes Dudley's unbeaten, they don't play anybody. But look at those teams. Davie County, who beat Page. Then you got Hillside, who just beat Southern Durham. Then you got Pine Forest teams unbeaten. Plus, in fact, you got the Richmond County team who's playing Butler tomorrow night. So if Richmond County beats Butler, and you got Richmond County in a couple of weeks, that's a pretty good schedule.
Yes, sir. We don't run from anyone. We would love to play any team that accepts a challenge.
I got an idea. I mentioned this to Joe from the News and Record. I thought, what would happen if Dudley played East Forsyth at the Farmers Market on the back hill, seating 46,000 fans, a hypothetical situation? How about Dudley versus East Forsyth? How would that come out, you think?
I think we'll come out with a win. But I always respect the East Forsyth guys.
You got some buddies over there, too, don't you?
Yes, sir. Madison Cone.
I thought so.
Me and him are really good friends. We were actually hanging out this weekend just to pick up some quality time because I know he's leaving early to go to Wisconsin. So we're just trying to make up as much time as we can.
And a leaving early idea is still in the back of your mind somewhere. That's still something you got to keep thinking about as you get further and further down the road.
It's always a question in my mind, am I going to leave early? Because I also have my little brother behind me. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to mentor him into,
What's his first name?
Austin.
Austin. Got to get that in my brain. I saw his championship middle school basketball game last night against Coronado, and Johnny Richardson's coaching Coronado. You know Mr. Richardson, I'm sure, a good coach Coronado. Anyway, saw that game, Austin Hooker, and he's seen some time this year, hasn't he?
Yes, sir. He's a freshman on varsity at quarterback.
And getting a few snaps?
Yes, sir. He gets a few snaps, towards the end of the game.
How's your evolution gone? Because going back a couple of years ago, if you go back last year, you're the main man. You guys dropped the game to Catholic, right, in the last game of the season. Before that, year before, you don't get to play any playoff games in, but you were probably backing up. Who were you backing up then? Or were you starting?
I was starting my sophomore year.
Sophomore year. Your freshman year, backing up Mosley, right?
Yes,
when
sir.
you guys won the championship.
Yes, sir.
So back up your freshman year, starting your sophomore year, junior year, now your senior year. What about this? Here's another situation. This is almost hypothetical, too, but the question is this. Other than Hendon Hooker, who would be the player of the year in Guilford County?
I'm going to have to go with either Javon Leak or Nigel Peel.
Nigel Peel, good defensive man then.
Yes, sir.
Yep, got to look out for the D-boys, right?
Yes, sir.
D-boys in the house. What about Hennigan? Hennigan get any votes?
Yeah. Forgot about Thomas. Either him too. Those will probably be the top three.
Yeah, Will Jones will be in there maybe if he gets pushed, but Leak right now is having a very good year.
Very good year.
Some good competition there.
Yes, sir.
I would want to be on the punt coverage team. I'm going to be on the punt return team if Leak is taking those punts and I'm on the coverage team. Gosh, I just like one chance to tackle I got in the open field because that's a hard running guy. Mm-hmm. Watching just on punt returns only I've watched this year. It's like I told the guy really like a Mack truck heading down the highway. Tough man to handle, tough man to take. Some other questions for Hendon Hooker. Dudley High School. We got Nigel Peel coming up next at Shane's Rib Shack for a big Thursday night. Got some tough teams down the road coming up, and looking around some of those. Who do you see being the tougher competition around the state? Other teams you may see down the road. We talked about you're going to be seeing Page later on at their place this year, Richmond County at their place this year. Other teams around the state you think will be teams to look out for? I got one. I'm not sure if it's going to be high 4A or just 4A, but this Charlotte Vance team is pretty darn good. I like those guys.
Charlotte Vance is, I know they have a lot of athletes. They got a tight end going to Oklahoma and a quarterback going to ECU.
That quarterback's pretty good, yeah.
So they're a force to reckon with. So it should be a good playoff.
I got to be thinking Catholic's going to be good again too. They'll be deep in the playoffs.
Catholic too. We're hoping to see them so we can get a little payback.
Exactly.
But other than that, I think you hit every point.
The week of preparation for Hillside. What's this week been like for Dudley this week?
Like I said before, we're trying to take one game at a time and just push ourselves every day in practice. Defense, work hard to make the offense better. Offense, work hard to make the defense better. And we stay in the weight room every day. So
you're still pumping the weights even during the season too?
Yes, sir.
What about Monday, Labor Day Monday? What was that day of practice like? A little different there?
Monday was it was a pretty interesting practice. I had to do 500 up downs.
How long did that take?
It took the whole practice.
Did it? That was your practice today was doing up downs.
So we watched film, we lift weights, watch film, and then I had to do 500 up downs.
And that's out on the practice field at the baseball field?
Yes, sir.
Picked yourself out of spot? Had to stay in
good grass.
Same spot the entire time? Man, still amazing. Because I mentioned that to some guys a while back about what did they think of it. They heard the coach say, line them up. Boys, they line up and then they blow the whistle. And usually hear a whistle, we line up, you think about starting those up downs and 500 non-stop. Unreal. You should be in pretty good shape by now, too.
Oh, yes, sir. My body feels pretty sore, but we'll take an ice bath and I'll be good to go for tomorrow night.
What about Coach Davis? Does he ever come up to you? You ever come up to him and say, I'd like to sneak in and play a little defense one game? Has that ever come up question?
I've asked since my freshman year. He's denied me every time. He just, kind of jokingly just said, go ahead,
Got to look out for you a little bit there.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Got to prepare and got to protect Hendon Hooker as far as that goes. What about the Carolina Panthers night? You got the Dudley Panthers tomorrow night, Carolina Panthers tonight. How do you see the Panthers doing?
I see the Panthers, doing pretty good tonight. Depending on what kind of night Cam has, will show what kind of team they will be. What
kind of record do you predict for them this year? Had a 15-1 regular season last year. I guess ended up maybe 15-2 with that Super Bowl.
I see them about same 15-2, 14-3.
Okay, for like regular season, maybe 14-2, maybe drop down a game or two. Yes. Now, professional football teams, who would you look at as far as the dream team? Now, you got the college deal lined up. You got Virginia Tech ready to roll. And as far as a professional team one day and the hypothetical down the road, looking way ahead, several years, who would you want to play for?
Probably San Francisco.
Yeah, like that system out there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Man, I should ask you about this. Like I'll say, I'm going to back off. I'm going to stay off the Colin Kaepernick question, let that stand for another day. But I can see you standing for the anthem. I feel like you will be doing that. But, okay, you got your high school team, your college team. We talked about the pros. Give me this. Hottest game you've been in so far this year? Hottest game or scrimmage you've been in so far this year? What's been the hottest one? Because we had some hot days this year.
Hottest one. It'll probably have to be the first game we played against Carver. I know it was scorching that day, but then some rain came and saved us.
Mm-hmm. So, is that at your place or their place?
Our place.
Got it. Tomorrow night, coming up, you got Dudley going down to Durham Hill. So what time you guys leave?
I'm not sure. I know I have an 8 o'clock class and I'm done for the day and I'll probably go rest.
I got you. So you're not sure what time you guys are leaving the school yet, though?
No, sir.
When will you find out? Because usually the day before Thursday, they've got us line. When will you find out now?
We'll probably find out, around lunchtime tomorrow.
Do they contact you by text or do you go by
They'll probably contact me by text since I don't, I'm not on campus.
Yeah, now you go to the early college?
Yes, I'm in the early college program, so I take classes at A&T.
Gotcha. So you probably don't sit foot on the Dudley campus at all?
No, sir.
Interesting. Have you got enough classes in where you've got some college credit built up already?
I actually I'll have 13 credit hours at the end of the semester.
At the end of this one. So if you went to school in January, it took maybe 15 or 16 hours, you'd almost have your freshman year of college done?
I would have my freshman year of college done either way.
Yeah. Hendon, always a good job.
Yes, sir.
Play hard tomorrow night. You're back in the game. You're healthy. Keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the game Saturday night, too.
Thank you.